All right, folks. Hey, this is going to be fun. This is going to be the first interview of 2020. We're 3 Pound Fishing is trying to get some of the top anglers together, some of the leaders in the industry, so to speak, and interview them on 3 Pound Fishing. That would be on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, kind of sharing their stories in regards to what they're doing to prepare for the season. So tonight, without a doubt, we have a special guest, and that would be Tony Sheppard, part of the Jinko Fishing team of obviously his brother Mike Sheppard. So very excited to have him. I know I just sent him the link, so he should be joining us here shortly. And this should be exciting because Jinko Fishing, well, Tony and Mike in particular, they had a fantastic year last year. And without a doubt, my hats goes off to them because they put together one of the best years. They obviously won the Crappie Expo, and that was the biggest event of the year. I was just in awe of how these guys were able to truly master the scene in 2019. And Tony and Mike, I'll tell you what, they put together a great showing. So we're going to talk about LiveScope. We're going to talk about last year. We're going to talk about this year. So if you're into crappie fishing, in particular tournament fishing, this is going to be the interview for you, because I'll tell you, this guy is top of the line. He puts more miles on the road than anybody else to get to these tournaments, to putting in the effort of actually being a true tournament angler. So I'm excited to be partnered up with Jinko as well. 3 Pound Fishing is. So I think they've got some great products. I'm really hoping that Tony will share with us some of the new stuff that they have coming out. So he should be joining us here pretty soon. Lately, the content on 3 Pound Fishing has been obviously geared around LiveScope. I think in 2020, that will remain the same, because I'll tell you what, we continue to learn about LiveScope. And I know a lot of you guys out there are getting LiveScope systems for the first time. So there are some videos out there that I've just posted that help you get through that settings and getting set up for LiveScope. So, and don't think just because we are talking about LiveScope all the time that there isn't a need for side imaging, because there is. It truly is still very important. When I go to a new lake, when we go to these new tournament lakes that we haven't fished before, we start off every day with side imaging for the most part. Well, we do. And then we go up there with LiveScope and we look at it just a little bit closer to find out where the fish are and what's going on related to fish. Side imaging, in my opinion, is really great to find structure, and then LiveScope is really obviously to find the fish. So you can't see fish on side imaging, no joke, and we do it all the time in the wintertime, but I still think there's a lot of use for side imaging. The weird thing is, though, that I think we've gotten away from certainly using down imaging and 2D. So the technology has changed, but I think in a good way, and definitely excited about the future for crappie fishing in 2020. So it's definitely an exciting time for sure. So I know that for the first time, if you haven't seen, there's a rebate out there on the Garmin LiveScope. It's a $200 rebate. So take advantage of that. I wish I would have had that when I got my second LiveScope system, but they just came out with that. And I know there's a lot of, say out there about the future. Are they coming out with something new? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe Tony will know something, but at the end of the day, every year there's always seems to be something new and better out there. And it's always a question of whether or not you want to upgrade to it or not. So I believe personally that LiveScope is still so fresh and so new. It would be really strange for me to see an upgrade so soon, when I think this year there are going to be a lot of people purchasing LiveScopes, regardless of whether or not there's an upgrade or not. So what else is on tap? So we're doing a lot of guide trip with 3 Pound Fishing. Definitely have filled up the schedule. Now booking in April and May for guide trips. So if you're interested, you can email me at 3poundfishing@gmail.com and get you on the books, so to speak. So it's been exciting. It's been a fantastic winter. Without a doubt, the best winter fishing I have seen since I started fishing. And I do think that that attributes to LiveScope, without a doubt. Before it was you could go out there and have a really bad day and walk away not catching any fish, but that doesn't happen anymore. A bad day now is if you catch less than 20 is essentially the name of the game, and that's a good thing for fishing. People are excited about going fishing. They're catching fish. So there he is. And there, can you hear me, Tony?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. Hey, thanks a lot for taking time out and spending some time with 3 Pound Fishing and the subscribers here. Really do appreciate it, man.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Perfect. So I've been talking to everybody about, the season and last year's season and what we've got coming up. Tell us what your plans are for, well, I'll tell you what, let's go back. Tell us about the great year that you had last year. I want to talk about the Crappie Expo, how you guys came to win that event. And let's start off with that, with the Crappie Expo.
Yeah, the Crappie Expo, it was tough fishing conditions. We had to downsize to catch fish. They're very spooky. Everyone there knows that. They was struggling to catch fish. And our deal was staying off the fish 30 foot, casting to them with a small jig, presenting it very slow, and that's how we caught them.
So did you
downsizing all the way around from line to fishing to everything?
So how much pre-fishing did you do for that event?
We started pre-fishing on Monday.
Okay.
It was probably Tuesday afternoon when we figured out what we needed to be doing. Then we spent the rest of the day and a half, Wednesday and half day Thursday or whatever it was, to just side scan and mark brush piles that we thought had fish on them.
So people were talking about how it was easy they could find the fish, but they couldn't get them to bite.
Exactly. Yeah. We were having the same trouble till we kind of downsized and figured out how to get them to bite every once in a while.
So tell me about you did something special, which was, I believe, tied a lighter or leader onto your main line or something.
Yes. We used the modified Alberto knot, and we went to 4 pound mono,
right?
The 10 pound braid, and putting like a 7-8 foot leader on it.
And so, what kind of size jig head were you using? And
we were using 30 seconds with a dirty milk.
Ah, perfect.
You'll notice that's the fry baby, and then that's the full size fry baby. So get my stuff lined up here. So we can tell we was biting about half the body off of a fry bait. It's just a 2-inch bait, so we was making about 1.25 inch bait with a 32nd ounce jig. So
you would just throw that over the brush pile and just drop slowly, and that would trigger the bite, or
the thing of it was those brush piles had a lot of bluegill on it. And a lot of people were mistaking the bluegill for crappie because they were like 10, 11-inch bluegill. And the deal was you had to cast past the brush pile, let it sink down below the bluegill where you didn't get harassed by them, and then swim through the brush pile right above the crappie's head. It was pretty important, to not come across too high because then you'd have all the bluegill to follow you and you'd just mess everything up.
Right. What was that bite consistent across the lake? I mean, no matter where or was it only at docks? Or did you find that if you did that pretty much anywhere, you were going to trigger the bite?
We fished a few docks. We couldn't catch very many fish around docks. Of course, we live on Kentucky Lake and we fish brush piles, open water is what we do. And that's what we did there. We ended up just finding brush piles on small ledges, drops out just in the middle of nowhere. And that's where we ended up catching our fish. And unlike the third day, which everybody kind of knew what was going on, the last day of the tournament. And we were boat one, and we actually got to a spot that had a couple brush piles pretty close. That's the reason we picked it, because it gave us a little bit better options with 2 brush piles.
Right.
But everybody else kind of knew it then and was fishing the same brush piles, and we actually just kind of sat around and would wait for someone to leave one, and then we'd go fishing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we knew how to catch them, and I wasn't scared to fish behind somebody else because everyone else was getting too close to the fish and they just wasn't biting for them. So I felt like I could come in and stay back 30, 40 foot and cast and sneak 1 or 2 out every once in a while.
Yeah, because at this point, everybody has LiveScope. Everybody can see the fish. They know it's just a matter of how you're presenting the bait to them at this point.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So people don't realize how tough of fishing that was. How many teams were in it? Because only, what was it? Less than 10 teams actually caught their limit for the event or something to that effect.
Yeah, it was pretty sad, really. I think there was 96 boats, and I don't think there was maybe 2 or 3 teams that weighed in a limit each day.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was tough fishing. I think the first day we fished till about dinner. I think we caught 9. And we, because we didn't want to burn our spots. It was a 3-day tournament. And so then the second day we went out, and it was a little tougher bite for us the second day. And I think we had to fish to 1 o'clock, and we caught 8 fish. We wanted 1 extra, and then we went to the weigh-in.
Right.
And on the last day at like 9:30 that morning, we had 10 fish, and we knew we was in good shape. The last day we didn't have no mercy on them. We went and pretty well pounded them pretty hard.
That's awesome. So obviously, is that your biggest? I mean, that was the biggest crappie event that we've had to date, correct?
Yes.
In the history of crappie fishing. So I mean, you had to be elated. I mean, that was a fantastic year you had last year. I mean,
we ended up. I think the last tournament we had on Grenada hurt us in the ACT. I think we're in 5th in points, and it'll be determined after the national championship at Sardis in March.
Okay.
You can drop one, so we got a little redemption there to come back to maybe 2nd or 3rd in points. But yeah, we had a couple 3rd place finishes in the ACT and a couple in the Crappie USA here at home. Did well last year. I was pleased with our performance.
It would be the best. It would be the best performance of the team, correct?
Yeah.
Have you always been partnered up with? It's your brother, Mike, correct?
Yeah. No, I used to fish with Alan Carter. Me and Alan won the 2014 national championship with the Crappie Masters on Washington.
Okay.
And it was about the same deal as Hamilton. To think of it, we was using real small baits. We probably had 30. You've been to Washington. It's not that big a lake.
Right.
Where we were catching our fish, there was probably 30, 40 boats around us, and no one could catch 7. And we was catching 25 fish a day within talking distance to 20 boats, Yeah. It was all in presentation and size of baits. I mean, when fishing really gets tough like that, downsizing is key, especially if the water's semi-clear.
That's awesome information. I appreciate that. So next year, what is the plan in terms of what tournaments are you doing? Run me down how do you guys establish your schedule, and what are you going to be fishing?
All right, we try to fish as many as we can, but family is important, so we tried to put at least 2 or 3 weeks in between the tournaments. Our first tournament will be leaving this Sunday. We're going down to D'Arbonne to fish Crappie Masters.
Cool.
And then we'll come back, and I guess our next big tournament will be Crappie USA on Kentucky Lake. I think it's March 12th and 13th, I believe, 2nd weekend. And It's here on Kentucky Lake, and then a couple weeks after that will be the Sardis National Championship for American Crappie Trail, and we'll hit that, and then the season will start with American Crappie Trail.
Wow.
And I think Crappie USA is having a mega event here on Kentucky Lake, their first time ever. Like $10,000 first place or something like that. We'll probably fish that, and a couple more Crappie USAs that's local.
Gotcha. So are you staying away from the Crappie Masters then? Because isn't the Crappie Masters event in the middle of March as well?
Yeah. We're gonna go hit the D'Arbonne, and then we'll probably fish some of our state tournaments. that the Crappie Masters is putting on this year.
Right.
We'll probably fish some of those here at home.
So do you have the same boat that you had last year? Because I mean, that was a brand new boat, if I remember.
Yeah, I've still got 2019 Lynx.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
You want to share about technology you have on the boat and share with the?
I've really made it simpler. I used to run everything I could.
Right.
And now on the front, I've got a Garmin 12-inch LiveScope. I got a 10-inch helix for maps, and then at my console, I got a 12-inch helix for side scan.
Perfect.
That's pretty well all I need.
Well, that's a lot.
If you can't get it done with that,
do you think that LiveScope will minimize the amount of spider rigging that's done? Do you think that that's going to change the game? Certainly after what's happened last year.
If we're talking about tournament fishing, yes. I think you'll see a lot more people with a pole in their hand.
Right.
But as far as fun fishing and catching fish for the freezer, I still think spider rigging is probably the number one way to catch fish.
Right.
Yeah, but if you're just out there hunting for 7 big fish, then LiveScope one pole's hard to beat.
Yeah. So do you think you guys will change how you guys are going to fish your tournaments then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've been practicing all winter, trying to get on top of the game because there was such a learning curve. Everybody was ahead of us. The ones that had it for 8 or 9 months, and we just got it. So yeah, we've been practicing a lot and just trying to find some open water fish and learn how to catch those and sharpen our tools and broaden our arsenal.
It's funny you say that because even me and my partner, we've started just practicing just for one pulling for these tournaments, trying to get away from spider rigging, just because it felt like it just took so much time away from our day, putting it all up, going to a new location, all those type of things. So we're even messing right now with like casting chairs versus regular chairs when we're one pulling it. Whether or not we want to have multiple poles in the boat for casting versus single pole, just vertical jigging. So it's interesting. So you guys are doing something similar to that? I mean, just kind of getting a game plan, or? Yeah,
I mean, we kind of capitalized last year before the expo on casting here on Kentucky Lake with all the carp spooking and all that. That's kind of how we figured you could stay back off fish and catch more. kind of done knew that, from fishing because they're spooky. But yeah, I mean, the part we had to work on this winter was, one poling and being able to drop just straight on a fish at that instant. Accuracy more than anything. Accuracy and boat control is, I think, the biggest two things that we practice on all year.
Yeah. Do you think that, what was it? Matt Rogers that did well in the Grenada event last year. Mm-hmm. He actually did really well. I think the second day he was by himself. Sometimes I wonder if teams will eventually go to one-person teams versus two, just because even with me and Wade, my partner Wade in the boat, it seems like sometimes we get in the way of each other. Sometimes one guy's got to focus in on catching the fish, and the other guy's just basically going to sit there and stand there.
Right. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that goes on, and I mean, I think that's a good partner. You start reading each other, like you make a pitch to a fish or something, and it don't work for you, then I think the other partner can fire right behind you.
Right.
While you're pulling, save a little bit of time that way. But yeah, it's a lot that the other guy's just going to be dipping at,
Right.
But I think that's just part of the sport. Yeah, I do think there'll be some splitting up. I think the pro-ams will be, that the American Crappie Trail is going to do will be pretty interesting with this format,
Right.
So I'm sure a lot of the co-anglers don't care if you catch all five of them or they catch three, they just want to win. So.
Right, exactly. I think it's just like there's a lot of like fish get spooked when all of a sudden you see two baits, one bait goes lower than the other. There's a potential of spooking the fish.
Yeah, that's what I was like me talking about me and my brother being in sync. We're not both throwing at the fish at the same time.
Right.
One will be standing there holding the pole while the other fishes for it, and then when he pulls his line out, the other guy goes.
Yeah.
And
to your point, boat control is huge.
It's very huge.
I've got so much to learn in regards to that. If you're in a windy condition, and I mean, just being able to stay in position for a fish is huge.
Yeah. And on calm days, to me, it seems worse.
You go right on by it, right?
Yeah, you're going by them, and you turn the trolling motor around, you're like, well, there they go. And
exactly. So talk about, so are you do any local events then down in Kentucky? I mean, do you do any like a local association? I'm asking that question because we struggle with, we don't struggle with it, but we want to do the big events, but we also want to participate in the local events. They're a local association.
I'm actually the president and treasurer over Twin Lakes Crappie Club.
Okay.
It's got started in, I think, 89. It was just handed to me from some old gentleman that started it. Right. We normally have 12, 15 boats. I try to participate and stuff like that, and push the fact of crappie fishing all I can in my area.
Right.
But, I'm with you. I wish there was more organizations, and we are, the Crappie Masters clubs for the state. I think that'll help getting some more organizations out there.
Well, it's definitely, the more events, the more people can participate. But I think, going back to electronics, LiveScope has brought so many more people to crappie fishing in general. I mean, I'm always amazed when on the guide trips that I do, when they bring kids, how the kids understand LiveScope way better than, I mean, they get it. They're like, put me in the zone. And it's like a video game, and they are all about it. I love it.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of these guys, you see like Matthew Rogers, this younger generation, they caught on so quick because it is video gaming. I mean, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Putting the dot on the dot.
So do me a favor, share some of the newer baits, or I don't know what you have around you. Obviously I'm a big fan of Jinko fishing and the baits. Do you have any like new colors or anything like that you can share with the guests?
Yeah, we still got, we haven't come out with our new colors for 2020 yet. That'll be released before ICAST. But for last year, our new colors was green monkey, blue monkey, and we come out with 4 glow colors, which is just orange chartreuse glow, black and chartreuse glow, and we did the dirty milk in a glow, and I did the pepper doing the glow. One head we did come out with that still hasn't really caught on great yet. I know some guys have used it. I know a few tournaments have been won on it, but kind of kept secret, and we are probably remodifying it and making it a little better. But that's the whirlybird.
Yeah.
It's got a prop blade on the front. And the thing about the blade is if the head moves, then it's turning. With a traditional willow leaf blade, it just dangles if you're barely moving it. You got to be moving like 0.5, 0.6. And yeah.
Yeah.
But that there's pretty cool deal. And a lot of people I've talked to are just putting a mint on it. Just a mint that blade turning in front of that minnows head catches fish.
So I actually did I did a video on this yesterday on the lake, and it's the video is it's being edited right now, but it's going to be the secrets of winter fishing for me that I haven't really shared too much about, and I've got it on the whirlybird, and so you'll be seeing that coming out. But I do like it, so, and I love the dirty milk. That is like, so tell me, so I don't know what you guys did to produce the plastic. So what's unique, I think, about Jinko Fishing's baits is that it's the feel of that plastic, it's the softness of that plastic, and on the it's also durable. Like it lasts forever, but it's the softest plastic. It's got the most movement that I've experienced on anything. And I was at the Grizzly Jig Show, and I brought several people to the booth because I wanted to make sure I wanted them to feel the plastic, you know, actually. And so I didn't know if you guys had done, I mean, that was the research that went into the baits, I guess, but
it was part of it. That was one of my big hangups with some of the other companies. You know, you catch 2 or 3 fish and your baits tore up. And I wanted something that would last, and I wanted scent in it. I think the scent's a big thing too.
Yeah.
Which they both have garlic and bait fish combined.
So here's my favorite shape, tickle fry.
Tickle fry?
That is, dude, that is crusher, man. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. So,
you know, and back at the time when I was designing all this stuff, I had trolling in mind, you know, because the LiveScope wasn't here. This is pre-LiveScope talk.
Right.
And like that, like the tickle fry, I wanted something, because, you know, rigging with my poles out, I like to move like 0.2, 0.3 bears, very, very slow and be very, you know, picking everything apart to my best ability. And that's why with the tickle fry, I was wanting that little tail. That little tail will move at like 0.2, 0.3. Right. You know, it'll start kicking. It's not dead in the water to 0.5 or whatever. And in the same way with the whirlybird, you know, I was wanting something that the blade would turn at moving slow speeds. But with the LiveScope, it's working great, you know, for the same principle, because you know how it is. You get the bait by the fish, and you want that bait to sit there around him as long as you can without it going up. And movement out of that tickle fry or that blade sometimes will get you that bite.
Yeah. I'm always amazed by watching how fish will react to either the curly fry or the tickle fry differently. And right now, certainly on my lake, is the paddle tail on the tickle fry. And yeah, so that's, and I love the size of it. I think it's perfect. I have been cutting down the curly fry though, for sure. I've been making it shorter presentation. So taking maybe about a half of an inch, maybe not half an inch, but a 1/4 inch off of it and shorten it up. But
yeah, I do the same thing with the mermaid. You know, the mermaid's a 2.5 inch bait.
Right.
Everything's backwards on this camera. I have to go the wrong way. But at Hamilton, we was catching fish on this, but yeah. That's just the tail. That's nothing but the tail on a 32nd ounce head.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's good. I love the slasher head too. If you show, the hook on it that keeps the bait there without having it slip off is huge. Well, you have a whirlybird there. Yeah, right there.
The keeper.
Yep, the keeper. Yep. That's what it's called.
Yeah, the wire keeper. It keeps your baits from tearing up. You know, if you got a big lead collar on there, a lot of them will bust on a little bitty bait.
Right.
The wire keeper, you can about put any piece of plastic you want on it, and it'll hold it up to your head.
No, that's awesome. It's awesome. So, any other colors got going? You had Juice come out this year, was it?
Yeah, Juice is a new color with green monkey and blue monkey.
Yeah.
And what green monkey is, it's a green back with a dirty milk bottom.
Right.
Pepper dew back with the dirty milk bottom, and then the blue monkey is a blue back with the dirty milk bottom, and then Juice is like a red flake kind of color with dirty milk bottom.
I like it though. Juice is.
I like dirty milk. If you can't tell.
I love it. It's my favorite. It really is. So, do you think? Well, is there anything that you want to tell the subscribers at 3 Pound Fishing or talk to anybody about? I mean, is there anything in particular you'd like to touch on, or in terms of crappie fishing? And
no, I mean, I think it's a growing sport. I think we're headed in the right direction. You know, I think there's a lot of people out there that's on the fence about fishing tournaments. I think if you're on the fence about fishing tournaments, join one of these state clubs and get started that way, you know, get your feet wet. And most of these people that's fishing these state clubs and stuff, they're good people. They'll teach you, you know, any questions you have, you ask them, they're going to help you out.
Right.
For the most part, most of the crappie fishing community is pretty friendly.
I agree 100%.
And, far as what we're coming out with for 19, we're going to come out with a trick stick light. It's just like my trick stick, except it's 7'2". It's a lighter action for casting like 1/64, 1/32, lighter jigs, but it's going to be on the same material, same handle.
Right.
We've got an X13 rod coming out. It's a 13-foot jigging pole. It's going to look a lot like the trick stick, same colors. Handle's got a fiber carbon handle to hold on to when you're jig fishing. It's got a counterbalance weight that you put in the butt of it where the rod's not tip heavy. And we also have a Kevin Rogers 13-footer coming out.
Sweet. You got it all coming out. It will all come out before ICAST or after ICAST?
It'll all be here by ICAST.
Okay. You guys plan on, so you'll be at ICAST? Or
yes, we'll be at ICAST.
We were playing with the idea of going down there just for the experience and seeing the new products and stuff like that. It's got to be an awesome experience, I would think. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't do it in a day.
No.
3 days.
Well, hey, listen, man, I appreciate you coming by and talking to 3 Pound Fishing subscribers, and let's do it again sometime, man.
No problem. Anytime.
I mean, it's a great education to everybody, and you had a fantastic year. Congratulations. I hope this year is equally as good, man. So, and we'll see you out there. All right, buddy. Thank you. All right. So there you go, man. Tony's an awesome dude. Awesome dude. Very knowledgeable in the sport. And I really look forward to talking with him more and seeing him out on the trail. So I wish him luck. Jinko Fishing's awesome company. Check out those new baits from them. Without a doubt, the softest plastic out there. That is no joke, folks. And it's durable. It'll last for a long time. The slasher heads are killer. So check them out, jinkofishing.com. And that's going to do it. That's going to wrap up the first interview podcast, whatever we're going to start calling this, but we're going to start getting out there and talking to a lot of the industry leaders and starting to make a 3 Pound Fishing kind of interview session. So thanks again for joining. Please subscribe. Have a good one.